Now, I just want to start by saying how terribly sorry I am for the clickety-clackety of the last couple episodes. But I also want to address something very deep to my heart. Hey guys, what's going on? What I want to say is that until I move the mic, I may decide to click and I may decide to clack. And I'll try my best not to do it excessively. I'll do that. But in reality, I just can't stop clicking and clacking. So please excuse me, and I will try my best to limit it as much as possible. But in the moment, we may pull up some clips. My co-host Lucas. Hey Lucas, what's going on?
Yeah, I haven't even said anything yet. You're still doing your apology, dude.
I just want to acknowledge that you're here. But yeah, I want to say sorry again, and we may pull up some clips, or we may click and clack, but I will keep it at a minimum. Anyway, thanks guys. I'll head out. I'll see you guys later.
Well, he is now okay. Well, that's a problem. Can we cut? Can we
No, we can't cut. No.
What can we roll credits?
No.
Can we play the end slate song?
No.
Can we play the beginning slate song?
No, I mean I can play it on my phone if you want to do that. You want me to play it on my phone?
Nah, that's a bad idea. Let's just
I don't own the rights, but like I can play it, dude. So anyway, what's up? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. I would say that, but that's probably not true.
Yeah, I mean, we got some announcements, guys. See, I uploaded the last one late, and here's the problem with it being late. By the way, I'm going to click my mouse. Sorry for the clickety-clackety. I want to say that right now. All right, clicked it. Hope that didn't interrupt your whole day. Anyway, so what I wanted to say was that in the last episode, I uploaded it late, right? It came out Wednesday. And the problem with it coming out on Wednesday was that I had an interview at Cinemark scheduled for Tuesday. And so, I said in that podcast that it would be the next day that I would be doing the interview. And it obviously happened to be, like, already had happened at that point, because that's just how recording and uploading goes. And the problem was that I did that, and I went to my interview, and some bad stuff went down. And do you want to tell your Cinemark story or mine first?
You should go first, because,
Because if you listen to the last one, first of all, thanks for the 10 subscribers. Again, I think I mentioned that last time, but it doesn't matter. I want to say thank you every time.
Let's say thank you every time.
Thank you so much. But anyway, so basically, if you remember from last time, Lucas scheduled his interview first, and he got the interview done, and like it was all uppity, because that nothing had happened yet. And so, like, we were all in the clear and everything was good. So
we really were full of hope,
Well,
so many hopes, so many dreams.
I'm not depressed, but I think I don't want to lead people on. I think we should tell the story linearly, and then as we get there, we go on. So we're at your part of the story where you do your interview, and I feel like, oh, they respond quickly. I might as well do my part of the interview. So I scheduled an interview, and I didn't think I'd get the same luck as Lucas in getting the day after for the call, but I did get a call. And they said, come in and we'll do your interview. And I said, great. This could be the thing. And so I went in for the interview. Now, I'll tell my interview story first. It went like really well, I think. I showed up to Cinemark at 1 p.m. And there was like one other applicant there, and he was doing all right. And, I didn't really say hi to him, but I could tell that he was like a little nervous, just as I was. And so we were talking to the guy that was already working that shift, and everything seemed cool. And he scheduled both of our interviews for the woman to come down and then talk to us, and that's how that happened. And so I fill out my paper that has all the questions on it, and then she comes and meets me for the first time, and she says, "Who wants to go first?" Because there's two of us, and I raise my hand, trying to be, what's the word, Lucas, that I'm looking for?
Proactive.
Yeah, stuff like more active than like the other person. Show initiative. There you go. Show like initiative. And so she says okay, and we go to the back, and then she starts talking to me. Now for podcast sake, let's call her Jenny, because I don't remember her name, but I think her name was Jenny. So anyway, Jenny talks to me, and we're having a good conversation. I could tell that like she wasn't pandering to me or anything, because like she could tell I was nervous, and so she was trying to like work her way around the conversation or try to put on any kind of like, I don't know, happiness to make me feel better or something. Like in that regards, I felt like really confident in that, and I felt that I did a good job in my speaking roles and like just being a good, like, you know, interview person for that. And so we talk for a little bit, and then, you know, it seems fine, and then I put my times, and I guess like what I did wrong, thinking back on it, is that when it said part-time, like I put days that like I assumed would work for everybody involved. I don't know, like I try to make sense of it in my head looking back, but I think that's the closest thing that like I did wrong. That makes sense. So I put the days there, and I put the times, and you know, that was it. It wasn't all week, and it wasn't like all the hours. So, you know, I didn't think twice about it. But everything was fine. She said that I seemed like a good fit, and then, you know, we said our goodbyes, and that was it. And I got a call 2 hours later. Or not a call, I got an email 2 hours later, and it said, "Sorry, didn't get it, rejected." And then I was like, well, I don't understand. It must just be the scheduling. And that's what I think it is now, is I think it was just the fact that I didn't put the right amount of hours and times. So what I learned from that was, you know, just basically put down all the times and let them worry about scheduling. You want to tell your Cinemark story?
Well, I mean, it's a similar story. I signed up online, did my whole applicant thing, and I got a phone call the next day. And they were like, "Hey, do you want a job?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love a job. Do you want an interview?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take an interview." And they're like, "Okay, come in today." And I was like, "Oh, that's a little too soon. I'll come in tomorrow." And they're like, "That's cool too." So anyway, I come in the next day with my best wear.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing a button-up and some pants that were good. I don't know how else to describe it.
I mean, that's what I did. I think that's like just the general thing. I think me and the guy that was also being interviewed, I think we wore the exact same thing.
It's possible. It's a very common thing to do. But anyway, I go in for my interview. Honestly, I was super nervous the entire time because I went in early, because that's usually what you're supposed to do. And then I figured out while I was looking at my email that it was actually at 1:15, not 1 o'clock. So I went in at 12:45. So I had to wait there for 30 minutes, like super nervous about this interview.
Oh, mine was right at 1.
Mine was not just at 1. So anyway, I had to wait there for a long time, a surprising amount of time. It was my fault, obviously, but anyway, I did that, and I did not feel confident in the interview just because, like, I answered a few of the questions right, but a few of them I was really honest about, which I may or may not be the right thing to do, honestly. But anyway, I did all that, and it took them a few days to decide whether I was a good fit or not, and it was like the last day that I had to wait.
Yeah, the last day before a week.
Because they told me they'd get back to me in a week, and for group interviews, which I don't know what those are. Honestly.
I didn't even make it that far, and I think I didn't make it that far just because of that scheduling. I think what ended up happening was that we both, like, I don't know what you could have done wrong, because I don't know what you put on your answers and stuff that's different from what I put. But I honestly think that it went well enough, and like, this is just assuming, and you know, whatever. Maybe they had other applicants that just had better stuff, and because I applied so late, like, I didn't get it for that reason, because they already had their good people. So, but I honestly think that if I had put all the times, I feel like I talked well enough to get to the group stage. It's just I messed up on the time part. Anyway, that's just my theory.
I for my time, for the times I put every day except for Sunday, because you know.
Did you put all of the hours?
Not all of the hours, only 9 to 5, because I don't want to work from like whatever 6 to 3 or whatever that shift would be.
See, that's my thing, because I signed up for the hours and I want to say this now, it's like a spoiler, but because like the job thing didn't work out, I've signed up for a bunch more, and I have like a list behind me that just has all of these different jobs and stuff. And so I went into Five Guys like yesterday, or you know, whenever, and I talked to him, and I got an application after I was done eating my food, and I filled it out, and they said, or he was talking to me afterwards, and he was like, "So you don't want to work?" I put every day, like that was the thing I made up for on the Cinemark. I put every day, and then I put the hours that I wanted to do, and he was like, "Well, can you do nights?" And I said, and I didn't say no, but I guess that was my Achilles heel, because I said I'd prefer not to, and that was just like my thing, is that I'd prefer not to work at midnight. Which, looking back on that now, like, I'm more okay with the fact that they said no to just that, because that's the hours that I would want to work. And besides, Five Guys isn't like the place where I'm willing to make the compromise because I love the place so much. So they were like, well, we only need people that can work nights right now, and thank you for your time, whatever. And I was like, well, I felt bad about it, but now looking back, it's kind of like, well, it kind of evens itself out, because I learned a little bit more about what I need to put in terms of hours, and if I really want to work there, be willing to work those night hours. So like, I understand it a little bit better. But so now I've signed up for more places like Vintage Stock, and for Vintage Stock I put all the days, all the hours, because and their hours are better. It's 10 to 10. So if you end up working 6 hours, it's 10 to 4. It's not that bad. You can have a good morning and then go in at 10 and then work till 4. It's not bad. So I put all the hours, all the days, so that way it at least makes it so that way they can use me if they need to. So anyway, what were you saying? Yeah, were you done with your Cinemark story?
I was not, but I
Sorry.
think I was at...
I got off on a tangent, but that's just because, like, I don't know, I've been thinking about this job thing all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. So I went in, and it was the last day, and I got an email at like something like 6 o'clock on the last day, and they're like, "Sorry, dude, you didn't make it." And I was like, "Oh, that stinks." And as of right now, I've applied for a few jobs, although honestly, I don't think any of them are gonna work out.
What do you mind saying which ones you did? Because I'll tell you which ones I did.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter to me personally, just because there's just, I feel like it's really late in the summer to get a summer job at this point, because it's like, it's already mid-June when this is being recorded. You
could end up making a month out of it or more.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't feel like any establishment would want to hire someone for a month.
That's why I put part-time in general. I didn't put temporary, because that's often a choice that they give you. And so I put part-time because I feel like I could work a little bit into the school year, not too much.
I don't know. All I know is that next year I'm going to try a better, different approach to get a job, because this year was not the best one. Like, I could still get one, and that would be fine, but it's not, I don't feel like it should be my primary focus anymore. I feel like now I should probably go for more college scholarship, ACT stuff, and less job-related stuff.
I mean, and I looked that up too. It's a big thing that, like, places hire kids out of college more so than, like, teenagers. Yeah. And most, like, kids that go to college, most of them, or at least a lot of the general ones, like, not, Harvard people or whatever, most of the general college students get their first or second job after college. So, I mean, it's not too big of a deal, but it's kind of like, if you can get a job at 16,
really,
you can get
for me, it was really...
It's about the money.
I wanted to get a job because there's a lot of stuff coming out this year, and I wanted to be able to pay for all of it. And I wanted to be able to, like, actually buy the gifts that I get people, instead of, like, getting them the gifts with whatever.
With mom's money. I understand.
I mean, like, I don't know. I earn it at a certain point, but I don't know. It still feels weird to me.
See, where I'm coming from, it's kind of like, I understand. Like, I have an easy way to get a job, theoretically. I could go, like, just work for, like, my dad, and that'd be it.
Which is super, like, it's a good deal, but, like...
It's a good deal, but... And I'd be willing to do it for the money, and I know roughly what he wants me to do and stuff, but I mean,
you already do some of that stuff anyway, so, like...
Yeah, with him. But, there's some stuff that I would be doing on my own that, I could talk to you later about that, but...
It's true, but, like, honestly, like, to me, that's... Because I know if my dad had a business like that, I feel like I would be more inclined to do that, because I feel like it's not... There's almost no, like, application process, because, like, they raised you, so they, like, know if you're a good fit or not. And, I mean... And, honestly, it's, like, if they hire you on, it's more like instead of them just giving you things, it's like you're earning it from then on out. I don't know. To me, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But, I mean, my parents don't have businesses like that because my dad works for a corporation and my mom works for a school.
Well, my whole thing behind it is that it's the self-sufficiency in myself, because I know that a part of me knows that I get a lot from my parent, and sometimes I get like too much, and I don't want to be known as that kind of person. And I have the drive to do stuff on my own and to get stuff done and be successful. So, before I resort to going the easier route, which would still involve family, I'd rather seek it out on my own, and then if I get it on my own, great, because that means I am building a path for myself. It's an individual path. That's what I want to do.
I mean, that's good and all, but honestly, I feel like you don't need to preach that story quite yet, because, I mean, it's so much harder to get a job without a job history. Like, if you can say you've worked for somebody, more people are more likely to hire you.
I mean, I understand that.
And I learned that, like, even if it has nothing to do with what you're doing, like, because your dad has this business that has nothing to do with Cinemark or movie theaters at all, but if you had that in your history, they'd still probably hire you because they know you have a good work ethic or along those lines. Or you can just, I don't know, lift heavy things.
I could have just said that. I could have just put it on the application anyway and said, like, I've done stuff for this, but, I don't
know. For me, like, I could have done that too because I've done a lot of volunteer work, but, like, I don't know, that just doesn't, it's not the same as, like, a work history, because I wonder what it's like to have that work history, though, like, be able to put down on your application, like, oh, I used to work for so-and-so.
I mean, I don't know, it just helps you more,
because
you got fired.
I remember a teacher we had a while back, he worked at Ace Hardware, like, strategically, because he knew that if he was at Ace Hardware and he got high enough in the ladder, that he could work for anybody.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's funny. Right now I'm getting texts from somebody that about this job that I'm trying to get. I'm not afraid to mention these people that I email jobs to, because they haven't hired me yet. So until I get the job, it doesn't matter. So basically, I applied for Regal, and somebody used to work there, and now they're texting me about, if they've sent anything back yet. And so I'm just trying to figure that out.
Is he working anywhere this summer?
Yeah, go-kart place.
Oh, yeah. Because
Anyway.
that's another thing I wanted to touch on, is that I think that connection's actually through the church, because there was that wall of sign-ups.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it too. And a lot of the people from our school that have gotten jobs, and there's only like one I can't think of that breaks this rule, but a lot of them got it through people just in the community.
Yeah, I noticed that's a really big thing, because that's how my brother AJ got his job. And that's how my sister, shout outs to AJ.
Shout out.
The best brother I have.
Sorry, I clicked again. I just want to apologize. I clicked again. Sorry, I'm going to click one more time. I just want to apologize before I click one more time. Please. Sorry. All right.
So, yeah, that's how my brother got his job, and that's how my sister got her job. And then the other one went to college, so she was just the best to begin with. So.
Yeah, and I think that it's just tough. But if I can get one job, if I can get my foot in the door anywhere, and you could say the same thing, because like the places that we're applying are not like just regular fast food. Because if it was regular fast food, they might hire us more, and then you.
Honestly, I don't even know about that anymore, because I feel like a lot of positions like that, like we'll hire you on real fast positions, have been taken for the summer, because we were really late to this race.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of stuff for like Freddy's food. And Freddy's custard and that stuff.
I guess, but I don't know.
I think one of our main problems is that we're not going into more places. I think that the fact that we send in emails and like those applications, it's just tough, because that's the direction that businesses want to go in. But it's so much easier if you go in to ask about it. Because like that's what I did for the Bass Pro job, and the guy was like, "Hey, we don't have anything right now, but if you come back in August, we will probably have something for you. Like if you come in August, we can probably guarantee you the spot, because like the fact that people will be going to school and everything, it'll open it up for you, and you come talk to me again and we can work it out." And so in both situations, Bass Pro and Five Guys, when I've gone physically to talk to them, it's been better. And like, but the downside to that is like the Barnes and Noble job that I wanted to do, I went in and I asked
And
for
they only
applications.
have
And
applications online.
they said go online. And twice now I've sent in an online application and I haven't heard back. But the thing about that is that I looked it up, and in the websites that offer you jobs, they have like not a forum, but like their own Q&A and their own people that research this stuff. And they said out of a survey of 500 people from the website that have gotten jobs through them, they said that it was 44% hear back in a couple weeks, 37% hear back in 1 week, and then 4% hear back in a day or something. So places like Cinemark, it's easy to do that, and that's probably just like something that makes them stand out, is that they will react to you quickly, and that's probably a plus for being hired there. Is if more people hear about that.
I definitely feel like that's because that whole place is more geared towards teenage workers. Because when I went in for my interview, there was like a whole team of them.
Yeah.
Just cleaning up stuff. So like I feel like they're more geared towards that because the work they do is a lot simpler in nature, but.
I haven't found any other place like Cinemark that's done that. I mean, I applied to Regal and they haven't done it either. Just a minute over here. No, thanks. But yeah, so I don't know about that. And we'll find out if anything happens. I mean, if we're recording this podcast and then I get a job thing like in the next episode or something, I want to talk about that too, because that'll be interesting. Because I know that like I am a like smart enough and like strong enough person that where if they're talking to me and I mention it's my first job, but like they can tell from me that I'm good enough for it, then I could get it as long as I match up to whatever technical stuff they have, like their specific hours or what position they have.
I mean, I feel similarly. Like I feel like it's really hard for me to put myself out there and to really like say that I'm the best person in the world, because that's something I'm not good at. But I feel like if I did that, I could keep a job and maintain it, because I have no problem with like that kind of repetitive go to work, do the work, go home, because that's not ever been a problem for me. It's just the starting that gets me every time.
It's definitely, I will say that doing all this job stuff, like not getting, I don't know, like I think it's 4 jobs now that I haven't been able to get for different reasons. One of them, or 4 jobs for different reasons. The Cinemark one, the Barnes & Noble one, just because they never responded. The, what was it, Bass Pro, because they were already full. And what's the last? Oh, the Five Guys, because I messed up on the hours and stuff. I think that...
I wouldn't say you messed up.
Well, I mean, I would say that I kind of messed up because...
Well, I mean, honestly speaking, you have a restricted license, which means you're not even supposed to be out till past 11.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not that like bound by those rules where I would be so frightened if that were the case. But I think that with the job, I imagine it to be like if you really need a job and you want a job, you should want to conform to those rules because you need the money. And like in my mind, I know that I should have the say in like the hours and whatever, but considering it's my first job, I should also be willing to work those hours, you know, just to get the time in. And now looking back on it, it's just like if I would have put flexible on the hours and I could have done all the hours, then it would have been fine because he probably might have hired me, and then even if I was working like the later shifts, at least I would have had the job. And it kind of sucks, but I mean, every time I do it, and what I was trying to get at is that every time I do it, at least I'm getting stronger and more efficient on how I apply to the next one. So like the Cinemark one taught me how to do the whole dates of everything. This Five Guys one taught me how to do like the hours of stuff, and then every single one like teaches me like a new aspect of like getting a job. I mean, that's good. That's good lessons in the field, even if you don't get the job in the first place.
I guess that's true, but I don't know. For me, I've only applied to the one, and I had an economics class, so I knew how to do the interview, and I knew what you're supposed to say. It's just I just can't lie. I don't know. I'm bad at that whole build yourself up thing, because I don't know. Whenever they ask why should we hire you over other people, I have just no idea what to say, because there's literally no reason. But
I mean, I will say this. I think that is a confidence thing. I don't know. Like I feel like you just have to fake it till you make it, and confidence and stuff.
I guess, but like I don't know. For me, that's just such a dishonest thing to do. Is be like, oh, you should hire me because I have something special. But like, what makes me better than somebody else? There's not a lot there. Like maybe if I had some sort of college degree or some sort of education that somebody else didn't have, I could say that. But even then, like, what? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I guess at that point, like, if you could either go with the sense that the people that came before you, like the people that have the job, did that, so they have that mentality where they already did it, and so they did it to get the job, or you could go in with the sense that you do want to be honest, in which case you have to work all your way up. Go through the college, get the education, and then go in for the job with better results. Better things to qualify yourself for the job.
Yeah, see, and that's why I feel like, for me personally, I don't even know if I could get a job until I'm out of college, because, like, what am I supposed to say or do that would make me more qualified than the guy that came before me or after me? Because we had that theory where, like, even, like, your scheduling for Cinemark might have been bad, but it also could have been the fact that you had another guy right after you who could have said different things and was more applicable. Well, which is why they responded so fast that they couldn't hire you on, because they thought that other guy would be a better fit, and he was just the one that was closest to you.
Yeah, but in that sense, like that I will agree to, and I think that if that is what it is, then you have to cut your losses and say, okay, well, I respect the fact that they did interview me, and then they had the guy either before me or after me that interviewed, and they were picking their selections. They were holding all the applications in their hand, and they threw away mine because they had two others that were really good, so they were going to go with those. And that's fine. I don't care about that part of it, because in that sense, you just have to keep going to different places until you find the one that's willing to give you the shot, or that has the space that you applied to first, that can fill your spot. The only thing that is for me is that when I apply to a place and then I don't necessarily have the knowledge to put the certain things that they look for, that every place looks for, or they sense that I'm just not ready because of like these hour things or whatever, then that's on me, because I'm just not doing what I should be doing, and that's because I probably didn't know beforehand, because I've never done this before, and it's just all new to me, so it doesn't apply. But now that I know new things, not only do I need to bank on the fact that they need the person and they don't have someone already qualified, but they just need to like believe that I could do it, in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's all fine and good, but I'm just not confident by nature, so there's no way for me to really fake it till I make it. So.
Yeah, and like I'm texting this guy right now, and he's saying that it took him about a week to hear back from this Regal job thing, and I think I sent it in. What is today? Today is the 15th. Oh, I just want to apologize. I clicked on the keyboard. You may hear it. I just want to apologize so much. Today's the 15th, and I did. I applied on the 11th, so I got a few days to see what happens. But I mean, that's the thing. I think the two things that you need to do if you really want the job or a job, the two things that you need to do is keep going and go to a lot of different places, and you need to, if you can, find a place that you can go in and talk to them in person. I think that's what you got to do too, because I think they are more, I'm blanking on the word, but it's a better chance of you being hired if they have spoken to you, even if you have lesser qualities than the other person, and the other person applied online, because like the other person's a number until they meet them, and you are a person that they've met and have communicated to and have a personality already set up. So you're basically moving yourself one step ahead of the game if you go in first and talk to them before the other person. But if the other person comes in and talks to you too, or talks to that person as well, then it's kind of like you have to go off the qualifications. And if that person has better stuff than you, then you're gone and you have to go somewhere else.
I don't know. I feel like for me personally, there's just a lot of stuff to this whole job hunting idea that I don't understand yet. And I'm fine with that, because I realize that there's a lot of time left in my life to actually figure it out. And I mean, my mom said this to me too, and it's not the biggest deal in the world that I'm 16 and not hired anywhere, unemployed, but
I mean, to me, it's a couple things to me. One of them is the idea that I want, like I said earlier, to like start my own path, because I have like big plans for myself, and I want to start it now and get it going, because that's like what I want to be, that kind of person that just goes for it and is a hard worker. and I'm trying to start it as early as possible. And the other thing to that, part 2, is that I see everyone around me, a bunch of people like trying to get jobs and have jobs and are getting jobs, and regardless of the fact that they had the connection and they had the stepping stone to do it, I just want to be in that same group, so I don't feel like I'm left behind in that sense. Even if it's all based on yourself, and it's you're the one that's building it up. You don't need to rely on your opinions based on these other people. I think that I still kind of do that, even if I'm not supposed to. And I do want to be in the group of people that are working. There was a part 3, but I can't really remember what I was gonna say. I gotta pee, so I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm gonna drink some tea now.
Yeah, that's a great idea for someone who has to pee.
Well, I don't want to pause the podcast, but I also don't want you to hold it up on your own.
That is also true, because we both know I can't do that.
Listen, if I survive another 30 minutes, we got this. Let's power through. Let's keep it going. I will say this. One thing that I have done a lot more since starting this whole job thing is check my email.
Oh, for sure.
I've never checked my email more than that. I mean,
that is so true.
You know how stupid that sounds to people that are 18 listening to this? Like
I doubt anyone 18 is listening.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
we do have our one viewer over the age of 18 that we know is listening, but
what's up, Mr. Mueller? How you doing?
Anyway,
thank you for letting me use you as a reference. I just want to let you know that I didn't actually end up using your stuff. Sorry, but yeah, as I was saying, I've never checked my email, but I think, like I was saying, hypothetically, like someone that's older that would listen to this, like they don't check their emails. Like,
but like it's not something you think about. Like,
not at our age, no, not really.
I mean, okay, I check my email usually once a week for school, because they'd always like send out that email of, oh, here's what's happening this week. So I check it for that, but literally any other reason for anything, I've never check it, because just there's so many better ways to communicate in our modern age that you just wouldn't think about it. Because I feel like emailing now is like mailing back then, because emailing used to be kind of like texting, I feel, because it used to be more personal. And then the mailing system used to be like, oh, this is super professional. Like if you get a letter of recommendation, whatever. That's a bad example, but case in point,
no, I believe you, dude. I believe you. I'm here. I'm right here.
You get that feeling of professionalism. And now it's like emailing is that level of professionalism, because no one checks their email. Now it's like if you wanted to talk to someone personally, you text them, or you'd use some sort of one of those social media platforms. I sounded super old, but
something.
Like there's just so many better ways to communicate personally that emailing just doesn't seem like the most personal way to do it, especially because emails are programmable, because you can you can program emails to like send out on special days, or just have like generic templates that you can just autofill in and send to people, because like me and Jackson got the same rejection email, it just switched out the name.
Yeah, and that's also the downside, is that you don't know if you're talking to a real person or not until you actually speak to them. And like I looked it up on the same website where they did the survey, and they basically said that these people that they reject, these companies that reject people, sometimes they don't send out an email that says that they've been rejected for any applicable reason.
Which I really don't like, by the way, because that just... Ugh.
And they do it for multiple reasons, and the reasons that I read make a lot of sense, sort of. Like, if the person gets rejected, for whatever reason, and they send out the email, that person could get mad and then start emailing either a bot that, doesn't know what to do, or they're emailing an actual email that's going to get, like filled with stuff.
I mean, that's all fine and good, but like in the case of the Barnes & Noble thing where they just didn't get back to you, like, what are you supposed to do? Should you wait? Should you apply somewhere else? I mean, like, there's just no telling, and I feel like that's either really disrespectful or just neglectful. Because, I mean, what are you supposed to do in that situation? Because, like, let's say you applied for Cinemark, and like as soon as you did that, they got back to you and they're like, hey, when are you open for a job interview? Well, then, like,
which is basically how it went. I mean, it's a day difference. And I think that Barnes & Noble is the worst one out of all the ones that I did, because they are the ones that do this weird thing where, and I don't know if this is just because of the website that I get these offers from, but they will open up an interview slot or an application slot for you to fill in and send it to them, and then you do it, and then both times that I've done it, they will have that thing open, and they'll close it, and they'll open up another job slot that is the exact same thing. So for instance, like it said, I woke up one day and I looked on my website and it said job application or job offer from Barnes and Noble, bookseller. That's what it is, bookseller, and it was it was opened like 2 hours ago. So I was like, great. I applied and I sent it off. 2 days later, or 3 days later, I pull it up again, and the same thing is there. It says bookseller, but it says that job was opened a day ago, which kind of confuses me because I don't know if that's on Barnes & Noble or on somebody who's just uploading all of these job offers, because that means that, like, they had the slot open a couple days ago. They closed it after I sent mine in, and then they opened a new one, which I don't know why they would do that. I don't even know if it makes sense, but I just think that's weird. The other one that I can't really get behind is... was it you that mentioned where we live? Were you the one that said we live in Tulsa? Was that you?
I think so.
Well,
something like that.
I don't. Then I can name drop it. But like, I applied to the Tulsa Library, and it was just weird because the Tulsa Library hasn't said anything either. But I feel like that place, especially, you could get a job as a teenager because, I mean, I don't know
It's
what.
not, well, there's a lot of reasons. For one, it's like it's a simple job because it's not, you don't need any kind of license or education to know where books are supposed to go.
Right, so I don't know why I haven't gotten that one back. I'm going to look that up real quick when I got that slot, because I feel like they should have responded. And it is the Tulsa Library, so I don't expect them to apply or respond immediately. But I mean, a week should be enough. A week should be enough for any of these places. If they have someone that checks it once a week and they go through, I don't know, like 50 applications, it's a long process for those people. But
at the same time, it would take an afternoon, because some of those applications you look at for 2 seconds and be like, well, they're not qualified for this.
Yeah, which, I mean, let's be honest, it's like
probably ours.
Yeah. Which again is why you always have to go out and you have to find like the different ones. And I don't know, like we went to Chick-fil-A and we saw all those younger people. None of those people have had job experience before, but it's an entry-level job, and that's what Chick-fil-A is known for, is hiring those younger people. But to me, like personally,
it kind of works for them because they're overly polite.
Yeah, and it's just I think it's part of their brand. How like I don't know how to specifically say it. Like they have the Christian kind of atmosphere that they're open to all this stuff and they're nice to everybody. So of course they would be inclusive to having younger people as a starting point. But yeah, essentially I don't want to work there because I don't know. It didn't speak out to me as much as like doing a retail. I don't really want to do the fast food scene. I applied for the Tulsa Library on Tuesday. Is that what that's? It says Tuesday, and today is Saturday. So yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, I could give it a week and then wait till next Tuesday and see, but I don't. In the meantime,
what are you supposed to do? That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know if you have the job or if you don't have the job.
Right, which is why what you should do is go to other places. And as much as you'd rather work at the place that you already applied, if you really need the job, you would have to apply to these other places.
But at the same time, here's my argument is that do you really need the job? Because right now, you're just a student out on summer break.
Yeah,
and you have a vacation coming up.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, if you need the... I mean, like, I don't necessarily need to... I don't have to have a job in my position right now. Do I want one to pursue all these different avenues of life? Yes, I would love to have a job. Do I absolutely need one in the space that I'm at? No. But I don't also want to stay in the same place that I am until after college. I don't want to be that kind of person that's so new to the world. I'd rather have experience before college, because then it just integrates.
Well, we'd all like to have experience before college, but I mean, there's just some cases where you just can't. It's hard to find a reason to have a job.
Yeah.
Or it's hard to get a job because you don't have enough experience, which is what you're trying to get. I mean, it's kind of a bizarre backwards system, but it's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, but I think that's just... You just have to be determined enough and just keep going, even when like it seems like it would never work out. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, at least. I mean, I will keep going. As far as signing up for new places, the way I see it is that I have about 2 weeks. Actually, today's the 15th. Yeah, I have exactly 2 weeks before I leave for my trip, and I'll be gone for 10 days. So I will, if I don't get a job in 2 weeks, or at least hear back about something, then it's going to be July 10th before I can do anything again. And the way I see it, if I don't get something in July, at least by July, let's see, if I get back on the 10th, let's say July 20th, let's give myself 10 more days. If I don't get something by halfway, more than halfway through July, then it might be a bad idea to even do anything at all. And, that kind of sucks.
I mean, that's true for a lot of reasons, but for me, I kind of have a similar problem because I have to take a trip in August to go visit a college, so I don't want to, I feel like it's already kind of late because I would work for a month and a half because I'd work for the rest of June and then July.
I feel
like at this point it'd be impossible to get a job in June, but that's beside the point.
One of the qualifiers for you, though, is that you don't want to do work after summer. You want, as soon as school starts,
that's the other thing I was going to get to is, I would work for a month and a half and then I'd be done because then I have to, maybe for that first week in August I would work. And then after that I'd have to take a trip because the second week in August I have to take a trip. And then I'd get back and it would be a week till school. So by that point, and I don't want to work and have school because it sounds like a lot too much, and I don't want to overwork myself for my senior year. So I don't know.
And with me, the way I see it is that I'd get back, and if I don't get a job by July 20th, then I might just wait till August or something. But what I'd want to do is get a job next week or the week after or something, and at least work enough days where they can trust me enough to where when I go on the trip I'll come back and keep working. And that's kind of one of those things we have to talk to them up front. And I did that with the Cinemark one, and she was okay with it. She said, these vacations that you go on, we understand because of course you're a teenager and people go on trips and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's cool, and I'm glad you understand. Which makes me understand that if you mention that stuff up front, it's better for you and for the person that's
definitely, because now they can plan around that and either give you more hours. Let's say if you said your schedule is completely open,
which is what I should have done with Cinemark. But
if you did that up front and then you were I have these vacation days, then they would have maybe given you extra hours before you left, or made sure that you didn't have anything, and make sure you don't have any work while you're on vacation. That's common courtesy.
Yeah, and I would have been okay with it too.
But they can't do that if they don't know you have a trip. So
that's what you do, and so that kind of takes away the fear of if I get a job, I got to plan around this trip.
But to me, it's different because for my trip, it's at the end of summer, so there's no if when I get back, I'm gonna be going back to school. For you, it's in the middle of summer, so you would work and then leave and then enjoy your vacation, but you would come back and work for a little while longer. But for me, it would be once I go on vacation, I'm done because I don't have any extra time after that.
Well,
because after that, I start getting ready for school.
There's kind of two opposites because there's two opposites that kind of align both of our situations. Because in your case, if you got a job tomorrow, you would have that's June 16th through August. What day do you leave?
August 10th.
Well, that's a good space of time.
Yeah, it's a decent space of time.
And so for me, it's not like one of us gets screwed over more than the other person. I don't think so, because in my case, if I got a job tomorrow, that's June 16th through the end of this month, and then I do those 10 days, and then I work again through August. I leave again in August. I would get to August, and then I would work the 7th through the 17th, and that's if I'm stopping when summer ends, which is something I'm not particularly wanting to do. But I don't think it matters that much. I think for you, you're kind of more on a time crunch where it's if you don't get a job, let's say within the rest of June, it's kind of worse off a little. But I still think that if you put in the time and you work, it's not like they're gonna judge you more because of that fact. It's more so
well, I don't know. For me, it just feels like I'm less likely. The longer it takes me to get hired, the less likely I am to be hired. I don't know. It just
yeah, and that's just another one of those things where you got to keep going and you got to keep applying to places. And the trips are kind of different because as long as you can make yourself stand out to them and be hey, I will work all of the time, as long as you understand that I won't be here for these dates and I can't help it, but I will be here to work until this date, and this date I can start. If we want to start here and we want to end here, then just know that I can do every single day and whatever hours you need me to do. But just know that this part's blocked out and this part's blocked out. And if you can't hire me for that reason, I'm sorry. But if you can hire me for that reason, I'm glad we're both on the same page about it. Because that means that we're both set and we're good to go, and let's do the job.
So. Yeah, well, we spent 45 minutes talking about jobs. Anything else?
Well, I just want to say that we're talking about all this stuff, but we don't even have the jobs. But I think it's good that we're at least knowledgeable to know this kind of stuff, to at least have the conversation, not just be like, oh, I didn't get a job, whatever. But
you know what else happened while we were not getting jobs?
What happened?
E3. That happened while we were not getting jobs.
You want to talk about E3?
Dude, I would love to talk about E3.
Okay, I guess we'll talk about E3. Then you can start talking about. Can I pee or can I not leave?
I would, dude. It's 15 minutes. Just hold it.
But I'm holding it for 45 minutes.
Dude, you're fine. You're not gonna die.
But
you'd have to hold it for at least 2 more hours before that happens.
Okay, how about this? If I pull an ace out of this deck right now, can we just talk? I don't want to mention it because it sounds really dumb. If we talk about it during the podcast,
it's pretty dumb no matter how you mention it.
All I want to say is that I'm a psychic, and if you ever see me in person, Drexel, you can ask about this later. But yeah. So basically, Lucas and I are gonna do a bet real quick, and you guys can't hear it, and for that, I'm so sorry. But if I do this real quick, I can go. Ready? Ready?
Okay. I really hope you don't, because I can't hold up this podcast for that long.
Dang. Okay. Anyway.
Man, do you even shuffle those? Anyway, E3 happened. It was cool. There's a lot of cool things.
How about you mention a game, then I'll mention a game, then you mention a game, then I'll go pee.
Well, okay, the first game I want to mention, right off the bat, Final Fantasy VII, the remastered. It's coming out. When was it? March 3rd.
That's my favorite game.
March 3rd, 2020, I think, was the date they said it was released, which is awesome because I have been looking forward to this since the trailer first came out and way back. I don't even remember when. But, yeah, it looks really good and it looks really clean. I am super looking forward to it.
Now, when you say it looks clean...
It looks clean.
Does that mean that it's not dirty?
It means that, it's got that certain kind of polish that makes it look better, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I watched a video today by Jay Witz, shout out, and he was talking about graphics and how a lot of them used to look really dumb and people just didn't notice. And so he was also saying that graphics have they've not changed, they've changed a lot, but perception of it has changed. So now the Final Fantasy VII ones, they just actually look good. So yeah, and they do look good, and they it's not just the last Final Fantasy VII people thought it looked really good, but they were polygons, but now they actually look good, and it's gonna be a good game.
I mean, I'm hyped for it because I have not experienced this Final Fantasy VII story that I've heard so much about.
Neither have I.
And I think it'll just be a really good experience because I've heard a lot about it, and I think I know kind of the major plot points, but I don't know it blow for blow. So.
And I know that Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts 3 were made by the same team, or at least a lot of the same members of the same team. And you can tell because all the graphics look amazing and they look similar, and so does the fighting. But the problem with the fighting is that it doesn't look like it would be pleasing, but then when you actually play it, it's nice. With Kingdom Hearts 3, if you look at a trailer or you look at gameplay, it doesn't look that great to do, and it looks obnoxious, and that's kind of how I feel about Final Fantasy VII. But once I get into it, it'll probably be really good. I
mean, I think it's really interesting because the original one was turn-based. So it's interesting to see that they went for the action RPG approach. But
yeah. And I like action RPGs, and that's probably from Kingdom Hearts.
I don't think I've actually played an action RPG in my entire life. It's kind of a sad story.
It's fun. It's fun.
I've only ever played turn-based ones, so...
Okay, my turn. I want to mention a game.
Is it Animal Crossing?
It's not Animal. We're not there yet. I want to talk about Gooigi.
Luigi's Mansion 3?
Yeah, Luigi's
for the
Mansion
Switch?
3. Yeah, for the Switch. No, I've never played the other two.
That's unfortunate because I've played the other two.
Are they any good?
Luigi's Mansion 1 is a masterpiece. It's fantastic. And Luigi's Mansion 2, I did not finish.
Now,
but I hear it was pretty good. But I don't know.
So, is Luigi Mansion 3, does it look the same as the other two? Because to me it looks the same as the second one.
It does look the same as the second one. Honestly, I kind of miss the original's art style because they have those, like... the ghosts look a lot different than they used to. Which is, I don't know. I don't hate it, but I do wish they looked like they used to.
How do you feel about the fact that all of the Switch games, like their main focus is that you can do co-op? And so like in Let's Go, they kind of made it make less sense because you could just have another trainer that can throw
broken.
And now you have Gooigi who's invincible. Like they're basically making all their games co-op by making them super easy.
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, I feel like there's a certain level of, well, it's not super easy if it's, like, single player. Like, it's still a game.
Can you imagine if they did that with, like, Red Dead, where you, like, if you held the other Joy-Con, you get a second gun. You can dual-wield guns. You can just shoot stuff.
I mean, it'd be interesting, but I don't know. There's a certain disconnect, though, for that kind of genre. Because for Nintendo, I find that very expected. If someone like... what is it, Rockstar Studios? Yeah, if they did something like that, I would think it's super weird. But for Nintendo, it's expected at this point for them to make it pretty easy. Because, you know, they make games for kids and stuff.
Yeah, but I also think that their platform is for... they're trying to make it for everybody, but it also seems like now they're trying to make it for younger versions of everybody.
Well, I feel like it's because they know that those adults out there that like Nintendo will buy it almost based off nostalgia alone. And they still enjoy the easygoing games. Because if you wanted something intense, I feel like you should buy a PS4 and just pick up like Dark Souls or something. I don't know. Is Dark Souls on the Switch?
I think it got ported to the Switch.
That's weird.
They're also speaking of E3 stuff. They're also porting all of the Resident Evil games.
That is true.
Which is cool.
I'd be kind of excited to play those because I've not had that experience either.
And you kind of made a joke about how there's a cardboard VR for the Switch and how it's... I don't remember what it's called.
I don't know.
Nintendo Lab, that's what it's called. But,
yeah.
They should... I don't... like, if they made a VR for the Switch, I don't think... like, it would not make that much sense.
I'd argue it would.
Well, it would make sense in terms of, like, you could disconnect the Joy-Cons, and then there's your controllers, and then you just put this thing on that would be your VR. But I feel like the VR... the specs of it would almost be more powerful than the console. It'd be weird. It'd be weird to think about.
I don't know. It's just interesting, though, because I didn't even know I had it. The reason I found out that they had one was because I was just exploring the Smash Bros. Menu. It's so fascinating.
So I do it every morning.
I was looking through it, and it just had VR in the corner. I was like, that's weird. I didn't even know that was a thing. But...
what if I told you that Joker's my least favorite character in all of Smash Bros?
I would not enjoy that statement very much. That's not good.
Anyway.
You do realize that character is revolutionary, right?
My favorite character in Smash Bros. Is the announcer. Anyway.
That's also Joker, fun fact. They have the same voice actor.
Okay.
Checkmate, son.
Okay.
Anyway, you want to move on to the next game?
Yeah. Do you have any? What else came out?
I mean, Pokemon was mentioned, but
I know it's a joke. Pokemon's a joke. I understand. I'm gonna check my email for these jobs that I'm trying to get.
There's another game. Man, what was it?
Sun and Moon 3. No, Pokemon's... wait, we can't just graze over Pokemon. We mentioned it.
Okay.
Pokemon's great. The games that are coming out are Sword and Shield, and I think besides the branding, it's great. Sword and Shield, I think, are bad.
What do you mean by the branding?
I think the names Sword and Shield are not that great of names. I don't...
Dude, where are you supposed to go? They ran out of colors. They ran out of astral figures. They ran out of rocks. I mean...
Okay, Sword and Shield...
Diamond, Pearl, Platinum...
Sword and Shield
Ruby,
may be
Sapphire,
okay.
Emerald, dude. They're running out of stuff.
Sword and Shield may be okay, but the legendary dogs that they have for Sword and Shield, not that great. They're not that great legendaries. The Sword one's fine. The Shield one... Shield one's not that good.
It's a little rough around the edges, but...
I mean, it's just a dog with a giant faceplate on that's the size of a giant shield.
I mean, the other one's just a dog with a sword. That's not creative. So many other places have done that.
Yeah, but it looks cool. It looks so
Dark
much cooler.
Souls has done that.
Yeah, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Sword and Shield they're cool for so many reasons. We get a Great Britain game where we're in that environment. And,
Yes.
And we have the Dynamax feature where you can make your Pokeball supersized and then you throw it out. And
Honestly,
your
I
Pokemon's
don't know.
really big.
I don't know how I feel about that yet.
I really like it.
I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know how the gameplay is going to work with it.
I know
That's kind of what I'm worried
Well, I
about.
know how the move works, but you have to adapt.
Well, we all know
to
how it works, but like, I don't know. For me, it just like, I don't know how it's gonna, like, I don't know how it's gonna fit in. I guess.
I mean, that's how I felt with Z Crystals and Megastones were just cool.
Megastones, no one. I feel like somebody was against Megastones, but I don't know who they were because they're cool, start to finish. I think it was the best idea they had. It was way better than Z Crystals.
This is like the nerdiest stuff we've ever talked about on the podcast. But I will go to the next one because I don't care. The next game was obviously Legacy of the Duelist, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist.
Was that at E3?
I don't think it was at E3, but I definitely know it was. It's gotten dropped and it's gonna have a release date. And it's the same. It's basically a Yu-Gi-Oh! Simulator, and that's it. $40 Yu-Gi-Oh! Simulator.
Hey, but they got the new rules, which are a whole nother mess that we're not going to get into.
Yeah.
We got.
Because nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody was tuned in for the job thing. As soon as we said E3, everyone left.
Hey, I mean, I probably am.
Hey, our new 10th subscriber, please don't leave. I promise it's not always just game talk. We talk about real stuff too.
I mean, we just spent the first 45 minutes talking about real stuff.
Yeah, and they probably didn't stay for that either, so.
Dang, that's tough.
Anyway, Mr. Miller, what do you think about E3? Anyway, yeah, so I guess we could talk about the last one, which was Animal Crossing.
It's true. Which
is cool. I want to apologize real quick. I'm going to click on my mouse real quick. I just want to say sorry. So anyway,
Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's cool, and I'm surprised you like it as much as you do because
I just think it. I mean, I'm not a huge Animal Crossing person, but I feel like I could get into it if I made a habit out of it.
See, I don't understand how you could get into. This one's a little bit different than New Leaf, which was on the 3DS. But if you got into this one, why can't you get into the 3DS one?
I don't know. Maybe something about the 3DS one was kind of boring to me.
I think you're just like a Switch diehard fan.
Maybe. I do like the Switch. I think it's a really cool system.
I mean, it's cool, but I don't want to get back into that conversation. We had such a long conversation off podcast because we were talking about all the different consoles.
It's true. We don't have time for that. That's a whole nother podcast.
To simplify, I'm just waiting for the Switch to really come into itself where it grows and has more.
Oh, don't forget the other part, that Xbox is not that good.
Yeah, Xbox is not that great. And I was looking at the Xbox website to try and redeem it somehow.
They do have one thing.
What is that?
Is that Cyberpunk game. Because it's got that one guy from...
Clicking again, just want to apologize.
No, it's got that one guy... No, it's... Gosh, I feel really dumb. It's that one guy from John Wick. Jeez.
Yeah, John Wick.
It's got John Wick, basically. But
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
No.
They took his face and they put him in the game. Yeah, because remember there's that press conference. It's cool. Yeah. And someone from the crowd was like, "You're breathtaking," and he turned it around. And he was like, "No, you're breathtaking," and it was cool.
I didn't watch all.
He's
of
like
the
the coolest
stuff,
person ever. But
Keanu Reeves, he's cool, but I don't know. I've seen some of his D-list movies and
like Bill and Ted.
Yeah, some
freaking Bill and Ted's a great movie. Okay.
I never said anything about the movie. I just said I've seen movies like it. Can't remember what it's specifically called.
Have you seen? Okay, well,
I've never seen John Wick, so I don't know what you want to say.
I've seen parts of John Wick.
All I'm saying is that I saw Valerian last night, and I remembered that we were supposed to watch Theory of Everything. And
lol, I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. As soon as we watch it, we're doing a podcast. As soon as we watch the movies, we're doing a podcast about it. And so, what I want to say is that if you're any of these companies that I have applied to, can you please message me back and say either I got it or I didn't. One thing that I am also doing at the same time is getting back into school.
Into school?
You know, during the summer. Like, for instance, I am scheduled to do my NHS hours, National Honor Society hours next week. And I'm trying to finish my entrepreneurship class, even though I should have done that last year.
Lol.
And yeah, so it's kind of going, and I'm slowly but surely making my way through that. And then school will start and everything will be bad. And I looked at my schedule, and we didn't even touch on this because I got my schedule for next year. Have you been into the school yet?
I have a picture of my schedule. We can look at it after the podcast.
Yeah, I got my schedule, and essentially they were like, the ones you picked, we'll throw those out the window because I made the schedule. You're not getting the ones you picked, and you have two choices. Both of them are bad. And so I was like, well, I can either do this one and I'll hate it, or I can do this one and I'll hate both the hours. So I can either hate 1 hour or 2 hours. So I picked the one with least amount of hate in my heart for it, and then that's the one I'm going with. So
that is unfortunate. I don't remember my schedule. I just remember I wasn't super pleased with it.
It's not great. I don't know what the problem is this year.
The problem is that we don't have enough teachers and staff. So like if a class doesn't have enough students, it just gets dropped.
Shoot, I'll do it. I'll teach a class. What do you got?
Shoot, you don't have a degree.
Have you met the people? Some of them at our school. Not you, Mr. Mueller. Not you. Don't worry about that. But I'm just saying, some of them not great. Anyway, not great in terms of what?
Well, at least they can get a job, Jackson.
Yeah, at least that's what we're gonna end on, I guess. Actually, I don't want to end on that. I'm not in until we move on.
E3.
Yeah, we're gonna no. Essentially, what I want to end on is that I have to pee and I want to leave, and I've waited an hour at this point, and I think I've earned it. So I just want to thank everyone for listening. Once again, I want to thank our 10th subscriber, and once more, I just want to apologize for this click sound. And I will try my hardest never to have it happen again. And yeah, I think that's about it. You know, I am going to buy a Bluetooth receiver, and I'm going to probably get some new Bluetooth mouses and stuff that won't click as much. So once again, I just want to apologize with all my heart. I hate disrespecting you guys, and I just don't want that to happen anymore. So, and whoever left a dislike on the last video, I hate you so much. Anyway, I guess we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.